Welcome everyone. One more time. Welcome everyone. This is Andre and Soli with Peace, Love, and Chocolate. We are a young couple bringing back traditional values and bringing back the family.
Yes.
You don't typically see that nowadays, but we want to make sure we bring back the family, we bring back traditional values, we fight for what's right, and we stand up for truth.
Yes, so today's episode is all about marriage and getting married young. So, did you ever think you would get married young?
You know what? I did. If you allow me, I will say a brief, kind of history of my family and when I wanted to get married. Ever since I was young, I always wanted to get married very when I was young. So when I always thought, 23 sounds good. 22 even sounds good. And my family was like, what? Like, that is so young. Yeah, that is so young. And my parents were like, why would you want to get married at that age? That is super young. That's not the age to get married and whatever. You should wait until you're 35 and you have a career and you're established financially and this and that and that. Well, anyway, then I started to shift towards that and I was like, yeah, probably right, Then I just woke up and I said, no, I want a family now. There's no reason why you shouldn't get married when you're young, if you find the right person. If God presents the right person for you, there's no rush to get married at all. There's no rush at all. But when you do find the right person, then you definitely should start thinking like, let's get married, because there's no reason to wait. So no rushing, but there's no reason to wait. So yeah, I never thought I would. I did think when I was younger. When I got a little bit older, I was like, I don't know. And then, once
met me.
yeah, once we started dating, I was like, okay, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get married. Which I was 24 when we got married.
Yeah,
so
he was so old. He was almost halfway through his 20s. But I always wanted to get married young. I kind of knew that I was going to get married young. I think a lot of girls who do desire marriage at a young age. How many times can you say young in one episode? But a lot of girls in kind of like, I want to get married young. They always go through a phase when they're like, I'm just going to become a nun because there's nobody for me.
I always say
and I've
that.
been single and forever, or I haven't had many successful dates or boyfriends, whatever.
Yeah.
I think many girls go through that. I definitely did. But yeah, I wanted to get married young. I kind of had like this cutoff in my mind of what age was young. I think like 22 was like, okay, young. 23, we're creeping up. Like, I would like to be younger than 23. I definitely was the type of person that would have been totally content getting married at like 18 years old. That's how old my grandma was when she got married.
I wish I could have caught you earlier, honestly. When you turned 20, I was like, oh man,
now
she's
you're
not a teenager anymore. No, but you know what? I just want to say that's so true about girls thinking about being nuns. I mean, I've talked to so many girls who are like, after they go through a breakup or if they haven't found someone yet, they're like, you know what? I just think I was meant to be a nun. I mean, what if like a life of celibacy, a life of just being by myself and just helping others? Like, that just sounds like me. I'm like, it doesn't sound like you at all.
If you've dated, we know you want some babies.
If you dated someone in the past, if you've thought about dating someone in the past, you probably don't have that gift of celibacy. So.
Yeah. So yeah, I always wanted to get married young. I kind of knew I would. I don't really know why I wouldn't. I know, not saying not to be conceited, but like, I think there's a lot of girls that are like want to get married young and they're scared they won't. But it's like, why have that fear? If you want to get married, God's gonna bring you the person.
She's saying it's pretty easy to control guys to get married nowadays.
Oh my word, no,
that's what she's saying.
That is not. Okay, so I wanted to go through and kind of talk about some of the benefits that there are for getting married young, not just in our personal lives, but in general, and then also some of the cons, and kind of talk about that and what we think about those cons, how they've played out in our very own lives. So
let's get to it.
First, I found this article, and it was a study on the benefits of getting married. And so this was like the opening for the article. It says, recently I had the opportunity to review the scientific evidence on the consequences of marriage for adults with University of Chicago scholar Linda J. Waite for our new book, The Case for Marriage. What I found surprised me. Quietly, with little fanfare, a broad and deep body of scientific literature has been accumulating that affirms what Genesis teaches. It is not good for man to be alone. No, nor woman neither. Which this isn't a Christian-based study or website or anything like that. So just knowing it's not really coming from like a biased perspective. It was really just looking at the straight up, statistics of married people. In virtually every way that social scientists can measure, married people do much better than the unmarried or divorced. They live longer, healthier, happier, sexier, and more affluent lives. So, one of the benefits of getting married at a young age is that you get to grow together.
Yeah.
So you start off when you're young and you don't really, you might not know 100% like who you are.
Keep her barefoot and pregnant, guys.
Oh my goodness.
Barefoot and pregnant.
And then
if you can see right now, I don't know if you can see, she barefoot and she pregnant. That's why she can't even finish a sentence without going.
I know. And then I also have like pregnancy brain, so like I can't. It's hard to follow through with the train of thought like right now.
Anyways, can I borrow that for a second?
Yes.
I just want to talk about what you said, because it's so good. Basically, what it's saying is it's not good for a man to be alone. Mm-hmm. And honestly, when I hear that, I kind of squirm a little bit, because being alone is amazing. So it's not like go out there and go find the person. No, just be alone. It's amazing to be alone, really. But make sure that when you find someone, when you are presented the person, that you take advantage of that right away, because it's a lot better to be married. It's really nice to be alone, but I said alone, not lonely, alone. But it's even better to be married when you find the right person. So being married, this says it's better because when you're married, you live longer, you are healthier, you are happier, you are sexier, and you are more affluent. Those are just facts. Those are statistically accurate. So we're not just saying our opinion here. There's actually studies that have been done about married people, and it ends up being that, hey, you live happier lives. You live more affluent lives. So typically you only hear the negatives of marriage. You only hear divorce, and you only hear fighting and kids and no money or whatever. Let me just tell you, combining finances, being a team where I'm the captain and solely follows my lead, combining forces has definitely helped us in every single way. I mean, it's so much easier to pay rent.
And it's a lot easier to do these things when you are young, because you don't have a life that has already been super established, I had a bank account before, but I didn't pay bills or anything. I didn't, there's all these things that just make it so much easier, because we weren't so deeply rooted into our own individual lives that it was so difficult to merge together, which you find happens a lot the older you get.
Yeah, for sure. I see that people typically just hear the downsides of marriage. They are not hearing all the positive things, which if you are with the right person, it's everything. I mean, it affects, the way you deal with people, with other people, the way you make money, everything, because you have someone who is there to help you as a guy, and as a girl, she has someone that is there to lead her, right?
And that's not to say getting married when you're older is bad either, but obviously we're here to promote marriage, and we got married young, and that's something that happened for like forever, girls just got married when they were super young.
Yeah, that's true. That is very true. For a long time, people had been married as young, especially girls,
Younger than what I am.
And also for a guy, I mean, it was like guys were 23 years old having 3 kids and working, and it was a normal thing. For some reason today, now it's like, oh no, like I gotta wait until I'm 45. Grow up, guys. Come on, grow up.
Yeah.
And same with girls. You don't want to have to go through all your whole life. But I do want to make sure I say that it doesn't mean that it really doesn't mean that just go out and get married with anybody.
No.
We are not saying that. Please don't take that as that.
You can listen to our Preparing for Marriage podcast.
Yes.
From a couple weeks
which
ago.
I linked on the live too. So
Yeah.
whoever's listening to live, you'll be able to see that. But make sure, I mean, that is such a basic thing, which I don't know if you will touch on later, but I want to make sure people know that it's not about just going on and getting married when you're young. It's don't be afraid to get married when you're young. It's better when you're young.
And we're just trying to show you, like, obviously we haven't been married that long, but we want people to see, like, marriage is a good thing. Like, marriage is great. It's awesome. It shouldn't be something that you fear or that you have a distaste towards. Like, if you don't want to get married, fine, whatever. But we're just here to show you, like, it's not a bad thing. There are people that are genuinely enjoying it, and there are benefits to marriage just in general and statistically. It's been proven. So another benefit of marriage is that when you're young, you have less baggage to bring into the marriage. You've had probably less relationships. You've probably not been through as many hard things as you would when you're older. So you're not bringing all of that into the relationship.
Yeah.
And it just really helps you to mature and grow up. Our culture, our society loves extended adolescence.
That is very true.
Basically, there's this idea that you use your 20s to extend your teenage years. So you date around, you go out to bars and clubs, and you also do work and establish your career, but you also continue to not have responsibility other than your job.
It's continuing your teenage years with more responsibility. That's what people, I think, take.
A lot of people,
yeah,
and especially I think a lot of people that don't have a good positive view of what marriage is. But you have so many responsibilities. Like, you have somebody that you have to care for, and you have to you probably have to pay bills before you get married. Generally, I didn't, because I was such a young child when I got married. But now there's 2 people whose finances you have to be responsible for, and different things like that.
Yeah,
like,
I've
your
noticed
life is not your own anymore. You
I've
have
noticed
to take care.
That people typically go ahead and say, I don't think I have to pay rent. And so it's just better if we just live together, right? If they're dating someone, if we just live together, because it's cheaper that way, and it's just better for both of us. So then they move in together. So my question is, why do people think marriage is a bad thing? Like, they're gonna lose money, if they all of a sudden they get married. Oh, now we're gonna lose money. No, how come you thought that when moving in together was gonna be a good thing, but marriage is like, ooh, no, when in reality, marriage, if it's done the right way, I'm just telling you guys, when it's the right way, everything just falls into place. It's like a puzzle.
Well,
pieces.
To that point, because one of like you were saying, one of the, what is it? The
puzzle pieces?
No, like the reasons people say they don't want to get married is because of money, and studies show that okay, so a lot of people think like, oh, getting married could be a career hindrance. Maybe there was a job opportunity that I would have been able to take, but it will take too much time away from my spouse, whatever. But studies show that married men earn between 10% to 40% more than single men, and married women earn more as well. But more. Of course, the number goes down for
women
that percentage, when they have children. But it's like God knew, because married men still, they make more generally, percentage according to statistics, and then when the wife is pregnant, he's making enough money to provide for the family. And but married people not only make more money, they manage money better and build more wealth together than they would alone. So you know, you have to work together. You have to make sure you're on the same page with finances, different things like that. I mean, Andre basically does. Basically, my role is to not overspend money. but still, I'm doing a lot better off than I was before we were married. Mm-hmm. So yeah, married people make more money is proven. And of course, you get to share different milestones and different achievements together. I'm turning 21 this coming Friday, June 5th. So he'll get to experience my lit 21st with me.
Yeah, lit 21st while she's pregnant. Lit 21st.
I don't even know. I'll probably just eat ice cream. So that's really exciting.
Yeah, I'm gonna say something about that. It's really awesome to be able to spend your younger things and celebrations together as a couple, as a family, as husband and wife. It's really great to be able to have those experiences and be able to see, you know, for example, Soli's little sister. She's a baby, you know, baby sister. She's what? A year and 8 months or something like that?
Yeah.
So she's just so cute. And maybe if we would have gotten married 10 years from now, you know, obviously no little sisters, no little babies, it would be only our own. Just little things about family, little things about life that you get to experience together. You get to grow together. You get to spend your youth together while you're young, while you have, you know, when you're high energy. Who knows? I mean, from what I've seen, a lot of people that are on the older spectrum don't have as much energy. And just being able to say, you know what, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. You know, let's go and go on a run or go on whatever. You know, and being able to do all those things together and be able to have those experiences. I think it's really
like
great.
You know, graduation, you know, like if you're in college, when you get married, you get to see that person graduate, different life experiences like that. So like we said, it's easier to combine lives early, and there's a constant person, and so there's no fear of like breaking up. I know a lot of people have a fear of divorce, and that is not the way to go into marriage. Like, divorce should not be on your mind at all. But I remember thinking just like how nice it was to not be like, okay, like we're having this serious conversation or we're having this disagreement. Like, okay, well, this might be the end of it.
Yeah, this might be the end of a relationship. That's so true. Marriage is not your best friend forever from middle school.
No.
Your best friend forever from middle school, you were like, we are going to be besties for life. We're going to be so besties for life. And you held each other's pinkies and you meditated together and you had Starbucks together. And then someone started a rumor that your best friend said something about you. Then the next day you didn't talk for 2 years. You know, that's not marriage, guys. No matter what happens, we are sticking together. Okay, this is a commitment that we made, and we're sticking together. And so it's really beautiful to know that, you know what, we found each other young, so we get to experience a whole lot of life together. We get to grow a bunch together. we get to have this beautiful story at the end.
And that was something else, you know, like kind of moving into the cons that people see is, you know, like you might not know yourself or you haven't found yourself yet. And from my perspective or from my experiences, when we first met, I was in a program. It was the same program as Andre. And I was at a point where I was like, I don't even like this junk. And so then I moved to business management. And then I was like, I don't even like this junk. And I was at this point when we were married, I felt like, you know, I have so many friends that are in like this crisis of what am I going to do with my life, and I have no idea, and there's so much pressure. And even when I was married, I was experiencing that, and I was like, what? I thought this was supposed to have everything figured out. And I didn't have it figured out. And I was like, I have no idea what I'm going to do with my life. And that was when I kind of decided, okay, Sully, like school is not for you. And college education is not for you. But one of the amazing things about being married is having somebody like Andre who knows me so well and is able to encourage me in my life to be proactive about doing things. And of course it's kind of countercultural to say, okay, don't do school. But he knows my heart, and he also knows, you know, we're on the same page as to what we want in our lives. I desire to be a stay-at-home wife and mom, and so I have somebody there that can not only provide those opportunities for me because he's my husband and now I can be a stay-at-home wife, but just somebody who is so encouraging and is right there with me even when I'm like, I have no idea what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
So that's definitely something that a lot of people see as a con, but it's really beautiful to have somebody to go through life together and to figure those things out too. You know, Andre is figuring things out when it comes to things like business, and to have me there to say, okay, like I'm here to encourage you. I'm here to help you whenever you need. Like we don't know exactly where these different things are going or where it's going to end up, but we're in this together.
Yeah, that's so true. And just allowing kind of God be the one to guide you and lead you through all these things, as opposed to whatever you think that society is telling you to do or whatever your opinion is to tell you to do. I think I see a lot of girls especially that think that they want to do something with their lives, something really big and something whatever. And I want to say to those girls that have not figured out what they want to do with their lives, that it's okay. You don't have to figure it out. And that
it's really not that big of a deal.
And also that you are going to be a lot more fulfilled by being a wife and a mother than you will ever be having a career. And that's probably going to get me in trouble, but I really believe that most, not all, but most girls that are over there just stressing out and having anxiety about what to do with their lives, they don't know how they're going to make money, they don't know if they like their career, they hate their jobs, they hate their what they're studying in school, or they like it but they also don't think that it's going to make money at all. You're just going to be better off finding a good husband, and you know, and something that you can take up as a hobby and stay home and be a wife
or have like a side business or something. Yeah. That's so true. This is kind of off the topic, but I just want to say this as well. It's like there's no woman that I know that has a career and is also a wife and a mother that does not value her children and being a wife significantly more than her job. So that's just to say, you know, if you need any job suggestions, job advice, you know, just go find a husband.
A good one.
But okay, so this next one is a con, and it's a little bit like PG-13 of a con.
Okay, if you are under 13, Do not watch this right now.
But it's that you don't get to date around or sleep around. That's like
my word.
The only thing about being married young is that I don't get to date around and like get my heart broken over and over again, and I like never got the opportunity to like sleep with like so many other people.
Okay. She went there, guys. She went there. She's being sarcastic, for those of you who can't tell.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good, I want to just brush on that point. Just a gentle brush.
Our camera's at 7%.
Okay. We might have to
Switch out the battery.
Yeah, switch out the battery. So let me just say this. What did you just say? Oh yeah. You don't need to do all that. I mean, you can date it. I think it is good to date in the sense that you go out on a date and you don't think anything of it. You're not dating. You're just like having a coffee with someone else and you're getting to know them, and then you say bye-bye and then you go off your ways. In that sense, I think it is good to just, get to know people. But once you're going on like 3 dates together and you're spending time and you start holding hands and you start doing other things, yeah, you don't need to do all that to figure out if you want to be with someone. Maybe we should do a podcast on how to know that that's the right person or something like that. Because there are certain things you could ask, literally like 5 questions or 5 conversations you can have in the first date that you know if that person is disqualified or qualified for the future.
So this is very interesting. So according to this article, it says married people are also the most likely to report a highly satisfying sex lives. Wives, for example, are almost twice as likely as divorced and never married women to have a sex life that A, exists, and B, is extremely satisfying emotionally. Contrary to popular lore, for men, having a wife beats shacking up by a wide margin. 50% of husbands say sex with their wife,
wow,
is extremely satisfying physically, compared with 39% of cohabitating men. So, yeah. And it says it produces an environment of trust and openness, and that just results in better sex.
Yeah.
So that is another benefit of getting married young. You would think it would be a con to lose out on all that, but you're not actually losing out. It is fake news. They want you to think that.
Yep.
But it is fake. So the other fear is that there is more out there. Like, what if I'm missing out on another person, like somebody else that could really be for me? Or what if I'm missing out on all these experiences because now I have I could be missing out on something. That is another comment.
What I would say about that would be you are not missing out on absolutely anything, because what you're doing is you're not living in today. You're not living in the moment. You're not living in what's in front of you. And that is a very important lesson, not just for dating and marriage, but for every single thing you do. Make sure you live in the moment. Meaning, it's not YOLO. It's not this YOLO thing. It's just understanding that what you have in front of you is the only thing that actually exists. So don't, like the Bible says, only worry about today, for tomorrow has its own worries, or something like that. Not a biblical scholar by any means, but it's to that effect. It says only worry about today. Every day has its own trouble. So make sure you just worry about today. What happens is people think, oh, I'm gonna miss out on whatever, and like with this hypothetical thing, like what if I meet Megan Fox, who's a hot girl today? I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Megan Fox.
Yeah. What if I meet Megan Fox when I'm going to the movies and she's there on a premiere and then she asks me out, and like what if I miss out on a date with her? It's like that doesn't exist. You're just playing that in your mind as if it's a movie. So enjoy the movie, but know that it's fake. and just understand that when you'll know it's really easy. I mean, it's really easy when you know you're dating someone that is the right person. You date them and you're not thinking, oh, what if I'm missing out on whatever other person. You're living a total illusion. You really are.
And we kind of talk about this in our very first podcast episode, how to find the one. But to also that point, this statistic, where did it go? Okay, cohabitating men are 4 times more likely to cheat than husbands, and cohabitating women are 8 times more likely to cheat than wives. So there's another benefit of marriage. Less likely to cheat, less the chances of them going out and saying, well, this person is what I was missing out on. The chance for that is lowers so much because many married people know that marriage is a commitment and a vow, and a lot of times, and every married couple should see marriage as so much more than just living together or just
I've heard that. You read something the other day of like she was reading an article of why marriage is good or something like that, and the article said what did the article say? Oh, at one point it said, well, a good benefit of getting married young is that if it doesn't work out, then we still have time to go our separate ways and do this, whatever. It's like, are you serious? You cannot have that attitude when you go to marriage. You cannot have that attitude. God allows it so that when you join together under Him, with the husband being the leader, the wife submitting to him, the wife taking care of the children, He allows it so that you can have a beautiful, perfect family, and the children are able to grow up in the right way, and it's a forever thing. You'll be together forever, and it's really smooth, you know.
It is really. It's like, this is what they say. I'm about to give birth here in a couple of months. Okay.
You can tell by her breath.
Yeah, and if you have a hospital birth and you leave your options open to an epidural, you say, I really want to have a natural birth, but I'm going to leave my options open to an epidural just in case. And the chances of you getting an epidural go up very, very, very high because you've opened yourself up to it, and you're like, well, if there's a chance. Then once you're in that place of extreme intense pain, then you're like, I can't do this. I have to get an epidural, as opposed to saying, no, not an option.
You just lost all the male audience, by the way.
Sorry. Okay, epidural is when they numb your whole torso and legs, basically so you can't feel pain.
This is what she's saying is also controversial, because I have a lot of people that a lot of friends that I know that they're like, oh, just whatever. But anyway, what she's saying is if you give yourself the option for a way out in marriage, you're gonna take it every time, because they're always gonna there will always be things that you have to go through. There will always be arguments and discussions and things you have to go through. So whenever it gets hard, you're going to take the easy way out every time.
And just don't go into marriage. That's something that is so common, is like people just go into marriage and they're like, if this doesn't work out, like, that's okay. It's like, why would you look at your like spouse as if they're like, I don't even know. They're just like temporary. Like, if it doesn't work out, I can just like refund. I can just start all over.
Yep.
Our spouses, we should not see them as expendable like that at all.
Yep, that's really good.
Yeah. And so the last con, I guess, that I have written down is that it can be too drastic.
We're kind of dispelling the cons, by the way, if you haven't noticed. That we're taking little things that people say that are negative about getting married young, and we're dispelling them.
And this we kind of hit on, but some people say they found it like too drastic of a shift from that carefree life to that responsibility, and then it's like a shock, and they're like, I can't do this. Like, I can't adult today. I can't marry life today. And then they just like freak out and they don't want to have that responsibility, and then everything starts falling apart.
Yep.
Yeah.
That goes without saying. If you really can't take the responsibility, you were never ready to get married. And at that, you were never ready to even look for a person. You were never ready for anything, even a relationship. So for me, I think the main thing is make sure that you're ready to commit when you get married. And if you think of it in that way, it is more responsibility. But you should love the fact that as a husband, that she is your responsibility. You should love that, absolutely, because that means that you grow. I mean, if you only go through life in a way in which everything that is hard you step away from, you will never prosper. You will never get bigger. You will never succeed. If every challenge that life brings you, you crawl. Whenever you are forced to grow, you're forced to grow. And that makes it so that you can have a beautiful thing. Everything that is worth it in life comes very simply, but it also comes with effort. But if you have God and if you follow God, it will be very smooth and very simple to do.
And it's just so much better and fun and awesome to have somebody to go through those life changes with you. And when you go through something that is hard or something that is sad or whatever, to have that person there with you, like going through those experiences and being able to grow together. And that's just another benefit of getting married young and being married young.
That's true. Yeah. So to close out what we talked about today, we talked about what people think marriage is like and why you should not get married, especially get married young. And what we think about it, we think that it is absolutely worth it if you find the right person, if you are the right person, to go ahead and get married. There's no reason to wait. There's no rush to find that person, but once you do, there's no reason to wait to get married. Everything is better. I mean, everything, your finances, with the right person, when you get married young, everything comes out and it's better. So thank you so much for listening. We are Andre and Soli. This is Peace, Love, and Chocolate, our podcast. We are bringing back the family and bringing back traditional values, especially for young people today. I think that's been lost, so we're just bringing them back. Thank you so much for listening. Make sure you follow us on all Spotify. We also have a podcast. We have videos, music videos. We have lots of music coming up. If you're listening on YouTube, go ahead and give us a like and comment what your favorite part about it is and why you do or don't want to get married yet.
Yes.
Thank you so much for watching.
Peace, love, and
Till next week.